Ooh, and beside me is our guest, Jordane. Hi, Jordane. Would you share a little bit about your background with us?
Hi, Dominic. Yeah, so I'm from France. I'm currently the head of sales and marketing at LS Group. Um, I would say this is a company based near to Paris, and we are expert in 3D, VR, AR, and XR technologies. Um, Before that, so I have a business school study background. I worked 4 years in Munich, so in Germany, working for a web agency. Then back to France, I started organizing hackathon for big accounts such as Intel. Then I worked a little bit in TV production, handling social media and monetizing videos for this company. Then I started my own company. I wanted to create escape game, but in VR.
Oh,
So in a real like location-based entertainment mood. It failed because I didn't raise enough money for this company and for the project to pick up. But yeah, I learned a lot about VR at this experience. It maybe was a bit too early for the technology.
when did you do your startup? When?
It was in 2016.
Oh, yeah,
So
2016. During that time, everybody thinks that we are entering the era of VR. This is the 0 year of VR. I remember that. Yeah.
exactly, I was really inspired by a company named The Void.
Oh, the
Uh,
void. Oh, actually, I interview or the void. I think their CPO, one of their founder, I forgot his name, Curtis. He wrote a book. He published a
mhm,
book. Yeah, and he was actually one of the founding members for the void. And
nice.
everybody in the during that time we have we open for a lot of audience and people to join, and people were very excited and asked like, "What's the next?" Because right now it seems like they close it, but people are asking for what's next. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, and yeah, I tried kind of the same concept in France, but yeah, I we were like very small, and I think it was maybe a bit too early for France at the time.
Too early. What's the right time, right? Every time we always say something is too early, but when is
Hmm.
the right time? So I don't know. I think for the big company like Meta, like Apple, they are trying to push the boundary and helping us to build the infrastructure so we can,
Exactly.
yeah, we can be the right time, not too early. Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then after this experience, I joined LS Group. I was first VR project manager. If I can talk maybe a bit about LS Group, what we are doing,
Mm,
we are based on three different verticals.
mm,
We have a vertical named LS Studio,
mm,
where we try to use 3D and VR to highlight products of our clients.
mm,
It usually goes through configurators.
mm,
So we did a plane configurator for Airbus corporate jets. We have car configurators, but also luxury goods configurator, watches. So yeah, it's really using the 3D to showcase the product.
mm,
We have then LS Solution, where we produce and help clients that already have a project
mm,
in VR, and we build custom application for them.
mm,
So we help the clients understand what really is his need. We help figure out the functional specification and then the technical specification.
mm,
We do a bit of counseling on which technology is best for this project. A good example I have for this vertical is the work we've done with a French university that actually is university for nuclear engineers, and we built a serious game, and we replicate a room, which was the room with the swimming pool where the nuclear reactor is supposed to be inside. And the room is connected to a classroom where there is a control panel to control the nuclear reactor. And everything is interconnected. So all the actions that are done in the classroom have a consequence on the swimming pool room. So yeah, it's very nice scenario, but very complex. And yeah, it's used to train the future nuclear engineers and put them in situation, sometimes dangerous situation, but it's in a safe way. Our last vertical is LS Software, because we are also a software editor company. And we have 6 software on shelf that helps and are directed for industrial company. We were talking a bit earlier about it, but we have a partnership with a French institute that develops a physics engine that is very precise. This physics engine is called XDE, developed by the CEA, which is Commissariat à l'Énergie Atomique. And we integrate this physics engine in our solutions to be able to simulate physics very precisely in 3D and in VR. Our software, I like to say that they help clients make mistakes before it's too late or before it costs too much money. So the main use cases of our software are conception, hypothesis testing, maintenance, assembly and disassembly scenario, training scenarios, but everything in a very precise way from a physical point of view, which makes it realistic. So yeah, everything that you do in 3D will be also true in the reality after. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Wow. Yeah, because I saw like the company, the scenarios, you have luxury fashion, you have industry, you have also a partner with university. So yeah, I think we will have a lot of interesting topic related to some of your study case.
Mhm.
And what do you see, for example, like XR? Because for example, right now we all know that XR is still a genre. It's not like a everyone doing not for consumer yet, maybe for games. But what do you see that what's the turning point for example, right now we can see industry, everybody is using XR. How do you see this trend and what's the turning point for
Mhm.
this trend to turn to more like a majority adoption?
Yeah, really interesting question. Um, Being in the industry for, I would say, 5 years, I don't count my entrepreneurship
No
years
worries,
on
no
this
worries.
industry,
Yeah.
but in 5 years, I already seen things changing. Um, 5 years ago, um, people were actually maybe taking XR not seriously. They always seen that as a gadget thing, and that made my job difficult in the beginning because we all always had to, teach people and educate people
Yeah,
about what's the technology, and it's not just for video games. There are
yeah.
also lots of use cases, as I mentioned,
Hmm.
and this is this is very rare right now because I
Hmm.
think the public is aware of what is it.
Hmm.
Most of the big industrial companies, as you said, have taken their hand on XR. They
Hmm.
are using it. They are actually building lots of use cases around it. They see that you can have a ROI on some use cases, and they are looking for the ROI. So and they are organizing around the XR
Hmm.
project, I would say. They dedicated specific people to and specific resources I can mention like companies like Airbus or like Stellantis or like Renault. They have Unity developers, they have VR developers, they have engineers that work around it and really build all the use cases and try to maximize the potential of XR. So I think that it's going to grow more and more because once that the big industrial company are convinced, then other companies are getting convinced as well. We work, for example, with L'Oréal is one of our clients. Uh, you can say, okay, L'Oréal could be doing XR for marketing as well, for events, but they're also using XR in their factories. So yeah, I really think that there is a huge future for XR, generally speaking.
Yeah, and what do you see, for example, like what types of industry you think it might need? For example, like we before I interview some people, for example, like Charlie Fink or some other XR industry people, they said that XR is probably for some certain industry instead of apply to everything. For example, like if you wanna like if you drive you probably don't want to have all the things around you at this moment. You just want to, oh, if I want to see GPS, I just look over that 2D screen and I drive back. Or some interesting, like what do you see XR in the right study case as far as you see? For example, like healthcare, training, education, and what else? Yeah.
How I envision it is like not maybe putting a headset on everyone's head, but using it at some very specific cases. For me, every industry that has a factory and uses 3D prototyping, physical prototyping, for example, which actually concerns lots of industries. They can all benefits from XR. As I said, the main goal is to find the right use case and where you can generate money. It's not using XR just because it's cool or because it's new thing or because everybody is doing it, but it's really to identify where can XR help you. Does it help you, for example, in a training situation? We've done projects, for example, with fire security training. So when you can actually put people in danger, but in a safe way, and teach them safety practice, that's an amazing use case that you can replicate really easily with XR. As I said, everything that you need to design, and lots of companies right now are building real prototypes before producing a real product. And it costs a lot of money doing that. It costs materials, you need R&D, and the iteration process on physical prototypes is long, costly, and if you do that in a virtual way, it's faster. You accelerate it. You have to spend less money on physical thing. It's it has also like an environmental aspect of it because you don't need to waste materials to build a physical prototype. So yeah, for me, I said there is like lots of way to use XR from the design and conception phase right until the marketing phase and promoting a tool, having a virtual catalog, using XR as a sales tool, for example. And yeah, so for me, every company that has access to 3D for their products is a potential user and beneficiary from XR.
Yeah, I think for example, like before I remember 1 year that Ori Bar, the founder of AWE, he mentioned that XR is the interface of AI. So if somehow you need some visualization of AI, or you want some simulation or any visualization, you can definitely use XR as a tool. So you share with us a lot of different scenarios, such as firefighters using XR for training, nuclear, like students use like a XR for them to kind of envision themselves
Mm-hmm.
to get into to operate the real a kind of like a factory or device.
Yes.
What do you see that XR and AI can help? For example, like your client, what types of scenarios you think? For example, like AI. Right now, we know that. For example, I just saw like a pharmaceutical using AI to, for example, deep mine and create a lot of different like accelerate all the speed to producing like drugs. And also, Jensen Huang mentioned that right now, because before we mentioned Moore's laws, and he said that now we are in the speed of like 2 times or more times of the speed of Moore's laws. So how do you see that XR can help AI to visualize, and what scenarios you think it will be applied?
I think that AI and XR are two different tools that can benefit from each other. As you said, we can use XR to visualize the content created by AI. Um, we can say that we could use XR to train AI, because if you create like I'm gonna say a bad word. If you create a metaverse,
It's not a bad word.
I
It's just
know.
not coming yet.
I'm kidding. But no, but if you create a metaverse where you actually envision actions, maybe human actions, you can train an AI based on this simulation. So here is how AI can benefit from XR. And I see that XR can also benefit from AI because it can, and you said it perfectly, it accelerates creation. You mentioned the pharmaceutical industry using AI to accelerate the discovery of protein, for example, or new molecules. Um, well, I think that we can use AI to accelerate the creation of XR scenes or XR experiences. You can create you can generate texture and rigging and optimize the scene using AI really easily. The developers can base their developments and help AI to create their applications. So yeah, I really see that a really good I would say collaboration between those two technologies, and that they are really catalysts for each other.
Mm, yeah, I think for AI and XR, I also like trying to explore what types of possibilities. And right now, for example, like for the design, for example, I use Unity to develop like a mixed reality app, and I use AI for 360 skybox generation by text
Hmm.
prompt. And I also use, for example, like an AI to generate image, to generate voiceover. What do you see that AI and XR they can? What types of scenarios? For example, like in your client, does anybody kind of trying to wolf those two and successfully apply
Hmm.
to any scenarios or any problem as a
Yes.
solution?
One of the case I have in mind would be in the automotive industry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think just yeah. In the automotive industry, where you have huge data set of 3D data. Everything that makes a car is available in 3D. And if you have a number big enough of 3D data of different parts of a car, for example, you can actually use AI to research what's the best way to design a new car, um, from the environmental perspective, for example, using specific materials, but also from a weight perspective. Let's say, yeah, you really want to optimize the weight of a car, which is actually what car manufacturers are trying to do. Then yes, you can use AI to help you optimize all of this. So yeah, I really think that the use cases are huge, for AI.
Wow. So, just like you said that the XR can really, and AI, for example, I would say AI is pretty much just like you say, make things go fast or find things fast. They can search according to the pattern and the previous experience. And if we see right now, ChatGPT 4 or like all those big larger and larger larger language model and start making decisions for us.
Mhm.
Yeah, so for car industry, it's really good to see that they start using AI to help them to do some, for example, like a assessment of the sustainability, such as environment, and also that like the manufacturer how to be more efficient for their kind of like a manufacturer. And yeah, so we talk a lot about the industry. And another area that I'm very interested is also education. Currently, I'm teaching at community college in Bay Area, and then a lot of students I mean, they are very young and they start learning, and you see, like I always had a lot of empathy for Gen Z because when they were in high school, when the time they need to learn how to do more like, for example, group work or meet their classmates. However, during COVID, they were isolated, and now they grow up and they became college student, and then they generally they have not very positive job or employment future for, I would say, for their thinking. So what do you see, for example, do you have any advice for student, or what are you looking for some traits for if you want to hire any intern or junior? What do you what types of advice for you to give to the young folks who wanna enter to this area? And as far as I know, right now it's all seniors battleground. Yeah.
Mhm. Um, yeah, I'm totally with you with the sympathy for this generation. Uh, it was really difficult for them actually being isolated. I think from like when in your study perspective, because yeah, you need a social place
Yeah.
when you're young, and for most of them, schools are one. Um, my advice for them to join the XR industry or the AI industry, the first thing I would say is curiosity. If you remain curious, you really need to explore and to learn more about the technology and what it does. And don't stop to, okay, that's AI or that's XR. Okay, let's make video games. I surprised myself 5 or 6 years ago when I joined LS Group. If you have told me maybe 2 years before that I would enjoy working with heavy industries such as car manufacturing, plane manufacturing, nuclear energy. Um, for me, in the past, I always thought that as boring, but it's definitely not. When you're inside and you remain curious enough to explore this. So my first advice is remain curious of all the technology and always remember that technology is a tool. And it's a tool for human to help ourselves, and you can do whatever you want with the tool, and you need to explore all the potential. Then I would say that um, having a tech-savvy approach is also very important if you want to work in the XR industry, because it's technology. So you need to understand how a computer works or a headset works. You need to have basics of development or programming to understand the concept and what's behind an application. And also have, as I said, teach all the time, because you need to evangelize the technology to everyone, and teach people that it's just not only games. And you need to map your head around it, to make people understand how to use it for the right use cases. That would.
Yeah. So for example, what do you for because before I had some lectures, like guest lectures, my industry friends came to my class and discuss what's the future of employment for the young Gen Z. And I remember one of my friend mentioned that every time when she hire more junior students, she find out that everything that the industry required, that the school teacher didn't teach, or everything is pretty much outdated. What do you see the education currently kind of like the entire structure? And we all know that everything is very rigid, and there's a certain procedure, certain grading. And what do you see like at the education system? What should teacher teach? And as far as I know, some teacher against the AI. They like before we had some meetings between faculties, and I just realized that there are some teachers thinks that AI is unethical because it uses people's data to train it, and it's not being approved or something. And also there are a lot of hallucination, and people are reluctant to teach AI. And let's say, for example, I teach my student, I'm teaching Unity, the course called Coding for Designer and Artist.
Mhm.
And I asked my student to use ChatGPT to assist coding. And I just teach basic, and student can keep relearn
Learning.
just by talking to the chatbot. And some of them can do really well. So my question is, if like there are two groups, if you resist, you against AI, and you don't allow students to use any AI, that's for sure you can keep teaching what you teach, right? Because student doesn't have any tools to make them super smart, and they couldn't cheat. But the other group is that, hey, I just give you ChatGPT and you understand everything, and what's next? What can I teach? Yeah. So what do you see as a teacher play a role in these types of AI
Yep.
education era?
I would say teachers should carry on their teaching and teach also critical thinking. Um, I'm 38. I grew up with internet coming of age. Um, and I remember, like, I was one of the first in my class when I was in high school to have a computer. And along with the computer came something called, back in the day, Encyclopedia Universalis. I don't know if you remember that.
What's that?
Which
Can you set?
it's an encyclopedia.
Oh,
Uh,
encyclopedia, like a
yeah,
Wikipedia,
it,
something.
it was it was like the the I would say the old parent of Wikipedia. It was like just an encyclopedia which was like in 7 or maybe 10 different tomes, so huge books,
Huh.
all on a CD and
Oh wow.
researchable. So you had like they digitalized the books, and I remember like when I had to do expose or essays, like, we were using that and sometimes copy paste everything from it
That's how
and
my student learn. Like
yeah.
yeah, I mean, I asked student to generate some scripts, and they just copy and paste. And I usually say, before you copy paste, read it, what's going on before you copy paste.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's critical thinking,
Mm.
because and I remember my teacher back in the day were saying, "Hey, no copy paste from the internet. Don't trust Wikipedia. Blah blah blah." And with AI, it's exactly the same. Like you see those reaction from teachers saying, "Yeah, AI is unethical. It's bad. You shouldn't use it to make your essays." Well, I mean, if you're smart enough to create good prompts for AI, which gives you back an essay that is actually right, and it will be right if you read it and if you learn about it before. I mean, let's say you have to write an essay on uh, the U.S. independence. If you never opened a book or read anything about it before, and you just ask AI to produce you an essay with that, and you don't read it again, it might have hallucinations, and that's your own fault if you if you give this essay which is wrong because you didn't trust or you trust AI too much. So yeah, I think critical thinking is essential there. It's like, yeah, you can use AI, but check it. You need to check it because yeah, sometimes it will provide you with a wrong answer, or and as you said, AI is trained using human, and what do human do? Mistakes. So if the set has mistakes in it, AI will make mistakes as well. So yeah, for me, the teaching is important to embrace every technology, but learn to use it critically, and yeah, with the right way.
Mm. Yeah, and my another question is that, for example, like we talk about education, a lot of students start thinking about how can they, because right now it seems like if you see all the industry, everybody is laying off people. Even though the company that makes a lot of money, they start realize that they don't need people. For example, X, Twitter, they lay off like 80%. I don't know what, like the majority of their engineer got laid off. And it actually works fine and it start getting profit. And you can see Elon Musk is going to exit out, create Doji, exit out a lot of government unnecessary jobs. And it seems like they can reduce like 70% of all the staffs and be efficient. What do you see that, for example, for even for seniors, even for people in the industry, we I would say it's already a little bit, I would say, for us, we just have to keep improving ourselves. And how about for the young, like Gen Z, they didn't have any experience. And the company, I usually got a lot of complaint from the student that, hey, every company requires even intern or junior, they requires 5 years of experience. And all the, for example, when they saw a resume and nothing comes back, what do you see like for students to be visible to the industry? Do they have to get more degrees, get doctor degrees, or do you think, or like a bachelor degree, master degree? Do you think degree matters, or how do the student get jobs, or should they start their own startups?
Well, complicated topic.
Yeah, that's
Um,
also my questions for every
yeah,
time when I teach. Yeah.
I would say that a degree matter, uh, but experience matters too. The degrees matters because when you go to the university, when you go to college, when you go to any training facility, um, you learn, and I strongly believe the human being loves to learn.
Hmm.
So we need to learn. We are a species that loves to learn, and we need to learn more and more. So yeah, I think studies matter. So people should get degree, but they should not accumulate degrees and degrees and degrees. Yeah, it's I don't have a doctorate or a PhD. I have a master's. Um, and but right now I wouldn't say that my master's is what made me where I am right now. It's it's the sum of all my experiences that brought me here. What I would advise people is to find works and job experiences, and change when they are not happy with that. Because it's through experience that you truly understand what you want to do, but mostly what you don't want to do.
Mm.
And I think that's the way to test your own needs and values as well. Do you wish to work for a big company or for a small company? Do you wish to be an entrepreneur? Well, test, fail, and take and use the failure to understand and to narrow it down to what you really love and what you want to do and what you don't want to do. To come back to the topic of AI stealing jobs, um, I say that what tools have been doing all the time. Electricity replaced lots of stuff.
Like
Uh,
a whale industry, because before
exactly.
we kill whale to get some oil
The
to fry
oil.
up. Yeah.
Exactly. You know that, yeah, like every technology, every tool is made to make our life easier. And right now, people are working less than they used to 100 years ago because we have tools, because we replaced some processes with machines, with lots of stuff. As a consequence, people have more free time and they enjoy also lots of things. So I think that if AI is able to take on boring jobs that we don't want and that we can concentrate on jobs with higher value, then that's a good thing. And to do that, of course, you need to study and learn and comprehend how AI works or how technology works, and to move along with that. Uh, and yeah, if it can, like in the end, everything is about how we redistribute resources. If a company like Twitter can leave 80% of their staff and work with only 20%, what do they do with the money? And where does it go? Where does it go? So that's the question. If the money is equally divided into the 20%, that's good. If it's only to make one person richer,
The CEO. Yeah.
that's no, but that's the ethical question behind it, and that's why the topic is really complicated. But I think that if we want to be fair and we envision a world with AI taking on jobs from people, then if we use AI to to accelerate things, and if from an ethical perspective, the CEOs and the shareholders of companies don't want to redistribute that equally to the society, then we are doomed. But if we find a way to take on these advantages that technology gives us and we redistribute everything with equality, then yeah, we might go on a better path and we improve lives.
Yeah, another question. For example, like a lot of people start warning about singularity, which means that at some point when machine was good enough, that that age when it passed, that it will be start doing something that surpass human beings. At that point, like for example, like Elon Musk even said that the job is there's no such thing as job. It's like we don't really need to do anything, and working is just an option. So what do you see that, for example, before I long time ago, learning Unity is not that easy because, for example, I have to Google and a lot of trial and error and trying to figure things out. But right now, if you see ChatGPT can actually generate something not too bad. Like last night, I was trying to find out
Hmm.
something, and it takes like a couple of times to ask and toggle back and forth, but it's actually pretty good. The result is right. So what do you see that in the future? And you see that I remember there's a lot of companies is start creating some apps. It's called AI agent or something. I forgot the name. But if you just kind of like work on something, for example, like you are using a certain app software and you let that AI to learn how you use that software, it can generate the same duplicate the exact software for you. So my question is that, for example, we saw a lot of startups and we know there might be a bubble, right? So for an entrepreneur, what do you see types of uh, like a survival point? For example, if you see tools, tons of startups making tools, and if you see like a lot of things, I feel like we are producing much more than we need. So what do you see this types of like a thing? Like for example, we like our tools is so efficient, so a lot of people doesn't even need to work. And for startup, you can see a lot of tools are overpowered, like ChatGPT can. Right now, I saw one of the education giant was collapse because before it has softwares to help students to answer the homework questions, but now ChatGPT can pretty much answer. AI tutors can answer all your questions, so their stock just falling down, become
Hmm.
wallpaper. So, what do you see those types of things? And you can see all the big companies that become bigger and bigger, and yeah, and a lot of small startups. Like, what do you see that survival mode for startups?
I think that as usual, I think and I hope the market will regulate itself.
Mm.
Um, of course, there is a bubble. There is people trying to take advantage of the technology. They create lots of different companies, most of them doing the same thing. But in the end, only the best will remain at some point.
Right.
When I say the best, it's not the best company or the best use case, but the people that will have the who will have marketed it the right way uh, uh, at the right time. We were talking about timing earlier, but also with the right use case. So yeah, I think that in the end it will regulate itself at some point. We also see big giants. Building, acquiring. That might need state intervention at some point. I don't know. That's a political question, but we see that, and I sometimes I fear it. Sometimes I think, okay, it's gonna be harder and harder to find a new job or to find a new ID. But I'm also an optimistic kind of guy, and I like to think that something that the machines won't have is our creativity. And the human creativity and human adaptation is good. We can say that AI produces art, but the art, the AI is trained on the art we already created.
Yeah.
So the important thing is not to stop creating. And we need to create original content to to carry on the story. We need to focus on storytelling, on artistic direction, on user experience, because those things. the machine won't be able to, an AI won't be able to do that by themselves only. Um, and yeah, we said it earlier. AI is trained on what human created. So if the human stops creating, AI won't go further. And I'm not worried about an AI being more intelligent or capable than I am, because they already are. I mean, I'm talking to you through a phone. My computer is already 100 times smarter than me, doing calculation so quick that no human is capable. The AI of video games is beating me sometimes.
Mm.
It's complicated to beat now a computer at chess.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're already more intelligent than us. Um, but it's what we do with it that matters. And as I say, if we carry on being creative enough, uh, the creativity of finding a new use case, a new company, a new needs, and that's what will keep us going.
Cool. Yeah. Um, this is last questions. Do you have anything you want to share that besides our previous discussion?
Um, I think that could be interesting to talk a bit of Apple Vision Pro,
Yeah.
and because we talked about it before, and we were discussing the confusion that Apple's communication about
Yeah,
stopping
right.
the production of the headset
Yeah.
was bringing into the market, and maybe um, um, uh, putting some doubts in the head of industries, users, but also creators like my company, and say, okay, should we keep on investing in building apps for Apple Vision 1 or wait for the next to come out? And my conclusion on that was that the Apple Vision Pro is really influencing the XR landscape in democratizing the concept of spatial computing.
Mm.
And I think that with only that, Apple done a great job with the Apple Vision Pro,
Mm.
because everything everyone have seen it everywhere. There is like a huge awareness about it.
Yeah.
Of course, it was complicated to procure itself with the headset, because the price, it was pretty high,
Mm.
still is, and yeah, so it's not something that is in every hands right now, but we see also that Apple's is wanting to do a lighter version of it, maybe cheaper version of it, so it needed to have it outside, and maybe to reach out to the community of creators of application, because
Mm.
it's not enough to have the headsets, you need everything that comes with it. uh, and I think Apple's know that pretty, because it's the core existence of Apple. When you have the iPhone, it's not the iPhone that matters, but the whole ecosystem of apps. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
uh, and as a designer, I think you pretty much know that. But it's like creating new way of interacting with tools. I
Mm.
mean, the pinching
Yeah.
itself is a creation that Apple did, and maybe is a small revolution, but people are pinching now in front of a headset, which we've never did before. And it's a term like swiping right or swiping left that was invented with the smartphones industry and the iPhone. So I think it's important to keep on building apps, because the whole Apple ecosystems using Apple Vision Pro uh, will grow, and once the hardware will be democratized enough, people will need access to content. You will need app to really live the special computing experience, and to see how useful is it, or sometimes not, because for sure there will be apps that have no points. But yeah, we need to keep building on that.
Yeah, and also, for example, like I remember before we were trying to get Vision Pro to for students to learn, but there are a lot of problems. For example, if student wanna learn it, so that's why I think Apple Vision Pro is probably for more rich company and developers, not really for the majority of
Yeah.
people. Because if you see that a student who wanna learn Apple Vision Pro, we have to invest at least 10K to change one person, one computer, and imagine a class, 24
Hmm.
people, right? So 24 computer, and school doesn't have that budget. And
It's
also
not scalable.
it's not for school. Even though I know Apple wants to invest in education, but it's a lot of money. And if you see one headset, it's just for one person because, for example, it's very customized prescriptions, and it's not even it couldn't be shared. For example, Quest 3, it can be shared. You can wear glass, and some people with
Hmm.
normal eye vision can use it. People can share, but Vision Pro you cannot share. And also, yeah, a lot of costs, and also, yeah, a lot of like I would say it's very. I mean, it has something like the Unity has the plugin you can use Unity to build. But I remember I went to Apple Vision Pro, like before they launched, they have like a workshops in Cupertino. I
Hmm.
joined like 5 times. And every time when I build something, I just realized that it's a very closed system. I understand that Apple is a big system, but that system is close enough that I couldn't use ChatGPT to generate code for me. Why? Because Apple pretty much encrypt their entire website. So
Hmm.
ChatGPT couldn't get the code from Apple. So I have
Hmm.
to really figure it out. And for example, like for Meta, I can just type something and it will generate something not so good, but good to use because Meta has the last kind of, I would say, a wall. Yeah. So for me, Apple Vision Pro for the development, I mean, I'm kind of like an intermediate developer, but I personally still think that if Apple can a little bit loosen the types of like the gate, that would really helps yeah, like
The
us
developer
to,
community. Yeah.
yeah, at least for a developer, uh yeah, we can do that. So right now I'm more focused on Quest 3 or Quest system. Yeah, but I wish Apple can, for the Vision Pro 2 can be more open to at least for developer to learn and also to build stuff.
Hmm. I agree.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you
And
for inviting me.
yeah, cool. Yeah, and that's it for this episode. Thank you for listening. We release episodes weekly. If you enjoy this conversation, check out our other episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Support us by giving us a follow and a 5-star rating, or subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.